Okay, doing a garden tour video, starting here at the visitor center. And gonna keep this one to 10 minutes. 10 minutes, fast garden tour. And looking towards the Colony Truck sculpture and surrounding gardens. It's a beautiful night. It's Sunday, July the 13th. It's about 7:30 p.m. and we're headed towards the cabbage bed, where we try to grow giant cabbage. It's not giant yet. And the sculptures of the giant vegetables that have won in the state fair through the years. That's an actual size giant OS cross cabbage. Panning around to our own veggie bed. It's a mix of veggies and these awesome Iceland poppies that love to volunteer everywhere. So we decided to stop fighting and just put the veggies in with the poppies and create a display that has everything. Veggies, poppies, all of it. Daisies, you name it. Fireweed. At any rate, heading into the garden through the arbor, through the lovely artistic arbor that was designed for us. Metal arbor, looks like vines and leaves. We have clematis and sweet peas growing on it right now, and a box of annual plants that we grow right here at the entryway to greet you. They're not quite blooming yet. And the raspberries, which visitors love to come and pick, that's the first of our raspberry patches. And then we're moving into perennial beds. That's a red leaf rose with an upright clematis friend, and some plants called meadow sweet, golden trolleus, fireweed, lady's mantle, a giant scabious pincushion flower, and we have, it's peony season. So this is our friend Duchess de Nemours, quite an impressive white peony, as tall as I am. Old plant. And then moving through other perennials, we have a nautia, which is another kind of pincushion flower. Gonna pan around here a little bit and look back towards the back of the second perennial garden. That we have much of the same stuff in that one as the one we just visited. And here's our wild lands as we come back into the spruce tree area. There's just kind of a little wild forest windbreak that keeps the garden happy against the prevailing eastern winds from the glaciers. The rugosa roses are starting to bloom, and this is our potato bed, which this year is filled with buckwheat. We are filling it with buckwheat as a cover crop so that we can get some nutrients into the soil. And the potatoes we're growing in large pots. All throughout the garden we have potato pots. And trying our luck at a few kinds of cannas, and maybe some red hot pokers will bloom for us in there. We're not sure. So, all right, walking up the 3 rings of dahlias. We have 2 of the dahlia rings here. They will be coming on in probably about 2 weeks. They like to take their time, and really they're the stars at the end of the season. Right now, this week, next 2 weeks is the peonies. There's another group there, and this purple monster called Big Sage or Big Batoni. And one little dahlia is blooming. This is our painted daisies. They're just about getting to the end of their show. And more peonies. A giant knotweed is here, and more peonies. Carl Rosenfeld is the beautiful maroon one. Can't remember some of the pink varieties. I get them all confused. And looking towards the rock garden, one of our alpine rock gardens. And then moving into more peonies. This is another peony display, which is getting a whole lot of attention this time of the year. So there they are. And our peonies are about a month later than a lot of lower 48 locations, and that has made us a prime wedding market. There's a huge wedding market for peonies. So because we're later, we can fill a niche up here when the rest of the country is done blooming their peonies. So there's a lot of commercial peony farms now, and a lot of them are shipping a lot of blooms to Holland and other points south for the wedding market. And then we can look down through our little, this is kind of a wild Alaska forest here to the right, what you're gonna get. And then behind that is a massive rose shrub that Scotch rose, white Scotch rose, which has done its thing already. And looking at some of the Chinese golden apple and a rescue red apple. These are medium-sized crab apples. They're very tasty. They're edible apples, not a real sour crab. So we don't have any actual full-size apples in the garden. But all of this, berries, red currants, black currants, some raspberries pop up in there. Red currants, black currants, gooseberries. And we have something called honeyberries. And as you go all around here, this is all of our berry bushes. We have a small grape, which has lived through the years, but isn't doing much. And then Evans cherry trees, which are laden with little sour pie cherries this year. We're gonna have a lot of those. Rhubarb, giant old rhubarbs moving down through here. They'll be harvested this weekend. You can see 1 rhubarb, 2 rhubarbs. And looking back to our 90-year-old lilac tree back there, and right beside it is a mock orange, which is in its prime right now and smells just delicious. So yeah, this is one of our shade gardens. We have flowering cabbage in it, forget-me-nots, blue Himalayan poppies, which are super cool. Lots of little shady things going on here. Begonias, painted tongues, which are just the coolest flower. So yeah, looking through here, this will be next to it, sunflowers. The Sunflowerville, we got giant dill in there, white dill. We're growing some fennel. We sort of really mixed it up between veggies and plants this year. Veggies and flowers, all mixed up together. So another one of our perennial annual veggie beds. And this is tomatoes with 2 presentations of dahlias to come on. Sunflowers, giant dill, tomatoes, and tomatillos. And some of our tomatoes they're getting there. These are all varieties that are bred at northern experimental stations and universities, bred for growing in higher latitude regions. This is one of our new annual displays. It hasn't all bloomed yet, but one of my favorites is lettuce. 11 different kinds of lettuce that we are growing this year in these 3 boxes with some beets down lower, and those are they're so colorful and beautiful. We'll be starting to harvest those soon, and they go to the commodities table down at the senior center. So we're going to share our lettuce with the senior center, which is right down the street. So begonias, giant white dill, and Clarkia is what the ones are called in the middle. They're called Farewell to Spring, and they're just the cutest flower when that thing becomes totally covered. All right, well, that was most of the garden for the evening. I'm trying to keep this one to 10 minutes and short and sweet, not too detailed. I'd go on all night if they let me. Here's one of our perennial beds full of displays of different kinds of ornamental grasses. This is our artichoke bed. The artichokes are just starting to put some weight on and get bigger, and by the end of September we should have a good turnout here of artichokes. And you go through here, we have different colors of yarrow, monkshood, ornamental grasses. The iris have done their thing already here in this bed, and a little bed up against our greenhouse. And the greenhouse isn't much to speak of yet, but we have a lot of tomatoes, tomatillos. Everybody's blooming. A couple of them are starting to put on small tomatoes. We'll keep it heated and continue to harvest until the end of October in our little beat up greenhouse. So, but yes, that's the garden tour for Sunday, July the 13th of 2025. And wish I could get a mountain view. I'd like to end with a mountain view, but I think that the clouds are covering the top of Pioneer Peak now, but still not a bad view. It's the worst placement of telephone and light poles ever in a city. So, all right, thanks for taking the tour.